Oh. Okay, you ready? Okay.
Gentlemen, we're gonna do a pledge first.
Sorry about
That's
that.
all right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, like to welcome everybody this morning and call the meeting to order. Do I have approval of the agenda?
I'll make the motion. Need a second from one of you guys.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? The business is the zoning variance request at 410 Lane Street, or 412 Lane Street.
No. My business.
523 Lane Street.
5, that's right. Correct. Yes. Yes. What did you say?
523 Lane Street.
Here, I'll give you guys blown up. I see you already got some. What trying to do. There you want?
Yeah.
So I think the current setbacks on side yards with the town is 15 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Minimum 7 feet per one side, 8 feet on the other.
Correction. The two sides must be a total of 15 feet with a minimum of 5 feet.
Minimum 5.
So you can go 5 feet and then 10 feet
Okay.
or greater.
Okay.
But the minimums are 15 feet total of the two sides.
So what I'm asking is, I wrote 7 on there. I thought it was 7, so, you can keep it at 7 if you want, but where the old Bluebird used to be, it sat right on that north property line. I'm asking to get right back to that. So then we can actually build something that's 26 feet wide max. It still allows 16 feet from the edge of that to the edge of the road.
It's 26 feet max. Doesn't that cover the whole width of the lot?
No, so we got 7 feet from this yellow dotted line to the property line.
That's the edge.
And then it would allow 26, that is the current property line, and then there's that 16-foot buffer.
What's the yellow now?
That's proposed building line.
But you're within setbacks of
And I would keep it at 7 because I don't, that's too tight to put against that fence that's there. The front and back setbacks, we're good with that.
So what kind of minimum is it going to be?
I got somebody that's interested in the lot. I assume it's gonna be residents. They have not told me, but that's another, if you guys want a little stipulation on. We're going to keep it residents, and I'm not sure why anybody would do anything commercial down that far.
So for residents, I believe that's the same requirements as a residence and a business. Would be the same requirements as far as the setbacks go.
Yeah.
Which means they build a house, it have to be one of these new tiny houses they have on the market.
If it's 26 feet wide, then no, you need to get going over.
Well, some of the tiny houses are like 12
Yeah.
to 14 feet, so.
Yeah, but then you get into your guys' square footage minimum. It'd be like 12 feet wide by 100 long. You'd be able to make that.
What's it zoned now? Commercial or is it?
Local business.
Local.
Yeah, which is minimum lot 7,500.
Yep.
And 50
Yeah.
width. So hence
Which would be 7,500
Yeah.
square feet.
So you want to go to single family, one residential? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yep.
Yeah, there your square footage is the same as it is for the businesses.
Yeah, it would be the same. There would be a request for variance from development standard, so. Not change the
I
zoning.
don't know what the
which-
guys want to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think anything business or residential would fall under that zoning. It'd be fine, but it's just what's stipulated 7,500 square feet and 50 width would be the variance. It would be, and we'd need to host a public hearing and all that. But this was sort of the introduction meeting to all that.
And I guess, yeah, let's keep the zoning separate. If he decided he wanted to apply for commercial or residential, then he can come in and do that.
Which is fine because, and honestly, it being local business, if he wants, it all falls under. Yeah, so if you wanted to put a business area, fine. If you wanted to put housing, SF1 can go in local business, so you're fine there.
This is pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And it would just be the dimensions, basically. It's those 15 front and 5 outside would be the smaller.
What's the rear?
And
On residential, it's 10 foot on the rear, 8 foot, 10 foot.
yeah, which they follow pretty similar. It being local business, the front of 15 feet gives you more than SF1. It's a little more lenient on local business, which plays in your favor. But it's the 7,500 square feet and 50 foot width, which would be our development standards, which would require the variance. Yep, absolutely. Yep. So I guess, once those dynamics are laid out, then it's just setting the timeline for the public hearing and all that. Which we've got some members who are on our planning commission and our BZA. And then we've got another issue coming up where we're doing spot zoning on the property we annexed. So if we could keep those parallel, that would make it easier for some of our members who are on 2 boards. The publication in the newspaper has to go in. The soonest it could go in would be Wednesday for the following Thursday, which I think is the 4th of December. And it's got to be, we're looking at the middle of December before we can host it. You got to have 10 days notice from the publication date to our meeting. And so Joe and I can look at the calendar and get everything submitted and just sort of see when everybody's available. And then we can host a public hearing sometime in mid-December on a morning like this.
So if you put the advertisement in the 26th of November, it should run on December 4th, which is Thursday.
Yep.
And then 10 days past that. So yeah, we could go anytime. December 15th is a Monday.
Yeah. So anytime after that.
Yeah.
Week.
So were you around when they tore that down?
Yeah.
They tear the foundation out of it?
Yeah.
I think it's going. I think it's going, yeah.
I don't remember. I remember it being there, but
Yeah, I thought they did.
let's clean up how they tore off.
So I guess, does anybody here have any? Meeting.
Yeah.
Fine by me.
Need any other further
Yeah.
clarification on
anybody
Justin?
I guess what we're trying to do is just do something with the lot. It's a vacant lot, been for sale for a while. The neighbors obviously want it.
Not rudimentary.
Got somebody that's interested. Somebody wants to build a house in Judson, that's a good thing, so
Yeah, I
I
mean,
say more power to it.
Yeah.
Helps tax base.
Yep.
For sure.
26 foot wide. Well, I suppose you could. That'd be narrow.
For a house?
Yeah.
No, not really.
You can go up.
Yeah, I mean, you can,
They
I've
got
looked at
a
a lot
height,
of
they got a
plans.
height
You can-
restriction too. Oh, height.
Well, a 2-story. I mean, you
2-story,
could
yeah.
easily- 26 is not, depends how you lay it.
Right.
You can go 26 by 50 and you got yourself a 1,200 square foot house, no problem.
No.
Yeah, it's
How,
deceiving. You probably see some of the other homes in town, like how wide is that one next to it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to measure.
Well, I mean, most of the houses in town aren't 26 foot wide. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you're not looking at mansions here. That's just a nice small
Just a
home
house.
for a entry starter home for somebody.
How wide is the street? Which from property line to property line on Vine Street, that width? How much of that belongs to the town?
I think you said, what, 16 feet?
Well,
or
it's 16 from the road. I don't know
Right.
how much the road is, and then even this house over here, same deal.
I'm talking about Vine Street on the south to Vine Street on the north, between the two properties, as we see the line here.
I'd say it's easily.
that would
50 feet.
belong to town.
Oh,
What
yeah.
is that width?
Yeah, it should be 15 to 16 feet, that
Well,
roadway.
no, total from my property line.
It's supposed to be 50 feet, isn't it?
I think it's probably
Yeah.
50.
I think it's 50. I'm not sure though.
You got everything stuff rounded off there too.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an interesting
I mean,
dynamic with that
I'm
street.
assuming
Yeah.
it was that way because maybe some sidewalks at one time may have
Yeah. I
may
can
have
see
been
the one on the
potential to
north
run through
side.
there,
right,
but
There was, as long as I can remember, back into the 40s, there was no sidewalk.
but future, like if they ever
Yeah.
wanted to, they had the option to
Yeah,
run.
it is.
Yeah, they could
Had the
right
right
In
way
the
to do it.
future, that could be.
Which would almost be a sidewalk to nowhere, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe if the railroads are still there, and
Yeah, right.
people had a reason to go that way, but
Yeah.
it's not a highly traveled road either, so.
No, and I don't see the development over here much. You never know, but we're not gonna go put a sidewalk through there.
No,
And you guys own the property on the
That's what I meant.
yeah, we don't.
east
we
side
don't
of it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't see it being a hindrance there.
25 feet.
Yeah, we've got no plans to put any sidewalk on that south side of Vine. Once you cross Lane,
Yeah,
redoing existing going to the west of Lane Street on Vine, yes, but yeah, going to the,
Yeah.
no,
which that wouldn't impact it.
yeah,
The frontage there on
No,
Main Street.
not at all.
If you really look at the GIS on a lot of the houses in that area, a lot of them are on other people's properties. It's, yeah, they're crossed over a lot.
Yeah, right across the street.
It was a surveyor back then, right?
Yeah.
Didn't have a tape measure.
That property I owned on Jones Street before I sold it, when we got the survey that the neighbor's garage was 10 feet into our property. Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Whatever you want it.
That looks good. Yeah, line it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Justin is joining us here. Wrong Justin, sorry. Shram. Justin, we need to notify neighbors. Now, is that something where we gotta cross over streets and whatnot?
Have you defined interested parties in your zoning ordinance?
I couldn't find anything.
So I would say in the absence of defining interested parties in your zoning ordinance, you should probably contact any property who either touches or is adjacent via street. That'd be the safest bet. Some people classify it as within, 100 feet, 200 feet of the property, but if we've not done it, that would be the safest, plus your public notice in the newspaper, of course.
Yeah, so yeah, anywhere across Vine diagonal there and across the street this way, and of course, we're on the back side, but the property owner to the south. So, okay, that makes sense. And GIS makes it easy enough to get the information there. No, I did some digging on interested parties and I searched every possible keyword around that and read through the zoning ordinance, didn't find anything in there, which is maybe something we want to think about doing via ordinance, is defining that. And I don't know how hard that is or if it's just a simple ordinance, but that may be valuable because it lays a groundwork for, yeah, is it the neighbors across any street? Is it anybody within 100 feet, like you said? So I know when we did the BZA app for, I can't remember, it's for Hagen or somebody, but yeah, we pretty much got every property owner, north, south, east, and west got a letter. So good to know. Timeline works. Anytime mid-December, we can host the public hearing. I don't know if anybody has any time where they're leaving the state or the country. We can always communicate on that in the next month or so,
Yeah,
or the next week or so.
I'm gonna be gone a couple days in December.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Once we narrow it down, we'll get the advertisement put together for the newspaper to include all the details and all that. Justin, Joe, and I'll be in touch if we need information. It's pretty much right here though. And we'll work with Justin on the what all gets included and the notices to the property owner. And I think I know in the past we had Decola will send you the cost of the stamp basically, and then
Right.
it just sends the check, whatever
Yep.
it is. It's pretty self-explanatory though. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions? I don't have any. I don't have any.
Somebody want to make a motion on this?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everything I need to sign here, Andrew?
No.
Right.
No, we'll get the publication put together and
Letters.
communicate with Justin the letters and not much to it.
Be nice when we schedule.
Yeah, we'll talk with everybody and find out those dates John will be around, make sure that everybody are able to come as possible. Very good.
Is there any additional business deemed necessary by anyone? If not, we need a motion to adjourn. There's a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Good luck.
If we got an example, yeah, it was previous to, I think it was the, well. I think it was because they industrial laundry, they talked about putting an industrial laundry in there. Yeah, that
26
was
by
one,
how
I
little
think
what
it
he
would have
said
been
they-
before you were
No,
township
yeah,
superintendent.
Yeah.
Justin, we're gonna
There.
mute this for a
You're
couple
building
minutes
square
until our
footage,
8:30
how
meeting.
You can build it, depending on
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, I'd like to call the order. Do I have approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have approval of
Uh,
minutes?
no, so I
No.
passed, I handed the minutes out to everybody. We'll approve the 5:28 minutes and this meeting's minutes at our, meeting when we host the public hearing.
So you don't want me to sign?
No.
Great.
You can leave that right in there.
Moving on, the 2024 annex property zoning classification.
So we've got that piece of property, east side of town, and when we had, annexed it, the, clarification on whether it reverts to zoning, that is the contiguous border of town and that property, we don't apply the zoning of what's next to it. The zoning of the county carries over into what it's zoned in town. So if it was zoned general business, it would continue to be general business because we have general business on our zoning map. But because we don't have agriculture on our zoning map, we need to what's called spot zone that. Am I correct, Justin? In a sense, we need to zone just those parcels of property that are, annexed, and now in town, but they don't fall under any zoning we have because they're agriculture. And we have SF1, SF2, multifamily, general business, local business, and industrial.
Sorry,
So-
my thing was stuck. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, just to back up what you said, it's easier since we don't have a defined agricultural district within town limits. It is a lot easier just to, even though we don't like it, to spot zone, because otherwise we're going to have to develop a whole new section just for an agriculturally zoned district with setbacks, lot requirements, permitted uses, special exceptions, what variance you, I mean, it would be a huge undertaking. So easier to spot zone this an already existing zoning classification that we already have. So yeah, sorry, my button was stuck. I could not respond in time.
No worries.
And
That's
Justin
exactly
would-
what we're here.
Is my thinking correct that you want to spot zone it industrial, because then that falls, everything else below it falls into that, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll defer to you guys, whatever you think is going to get the job done for whoever's going to want to move there. I mean, yeah, usually people, when you've got it, they zone something A1 because it is the most flexible. There's the most built-in uses of the property. But if you think industrial would cover it here, I know, Andrew, you and I talked about what it may or may not be used for, but I can't exactly remember what you said maybe
Yeah.
the tentative plan was. But yeah, I mean, if you guys think that that's the most variable, then that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, and I guess so if there's pieces on that property that may be used for warehousing, that kind of thing. I don't know that falls under industrial, but I'd have to look back at our
Yeah,
zoning
maybe just
ordinance.
general business.
Maybe
and let
general
someone-
business is the most, because do we want, industry to the degree of industry, on that side of town where you have a funeral home, you have homes in front of it. It made the most sense, from here's what we zone it and anything under it could go there. It made the most sense for industrial, but maybe general business is,
Would work too.
what we're looking to attract there would be, whether it's, single family housing, multifamily housing, if there's apartment units in that back piece of property there, that would be next to what's currently multifamily. And then out towards the east side of that property, it makes sense that if something was to go there, whether it's food and beverage, something from the service side of things, it would be ideal to see a grocery there at some point. And I think falling under general business, it would fall, having its own general business would create the most potential use for it on both the housing and the commercial side is my thought on that. But we would need to, and Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, much like the BZA and a variance, we just need the public hearing and notification goes out. Then after 10 days after that publication, at least 10 days, we would host the public hearing and then prescribe a recommended zoning that would then go to the council for their final approval.
Yeah, from my recollection, since it's considered an amendment to your current zoning ordinance, what you guys do is you start out as what's called an initiated proposal. You guys initiate the proposal, hold a public hearing, post the proper notices. There are some publication requirements internally concerning like zoning maps that you have to make available to the public to come in and inspect. But we could talk about that after the public hearing. Obviously, you guys make the recommendation and you certify it, which is more just semantics, but you certify, you send it up to the town council, who then within, I think 90 or 120 days has to consider the proposal. Town council can modify it and send it back down to you, vote and approve it or just reject it. But basically, like I said, you guys do the legwork of holding the public hearing, and then making that recommendation to the town council, since you're just an advisory, it's called an advisory planning commission.
Sure. So is there anything outside of, and I'll work with you on the publications. Is there anything we need to establish here today beyond just the sort of loose timeline like you just clarified? Is there any decisions that need to be made, a direction, consensus or anything like that before we hear from the public?
I would just take a vote to work to set up for a public hearing. You're not voting to approve anything, but just taking formal action to vest you with the authority, you and Joe, to get everything around to set it for that public hearing.
Gotcha. Understood. Well, somebody wants to make that motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we need a motion first.
Yep.
I can't make the motion.
No.
The motion to set it up for public hearing?
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And as far as discussion, and nothing will go in the advertisement that specifies
What it's gonna be. So
what it's gonna be zoned, but I guess if
can
any,
have the discussion.
yeah,
now
if
then.
anybody has any thoughts.
I would
around
try
that.
to make it as palatable as can be,
Yeah. And I think the
right? I mean,
yes, and I think the wanting, our zoning classifications are not necessarily outdated, but they're people have done updated zoning to things to simplify it in some communities. That's quite an undertaking. So it's, the difference between general business, local business, or industrial. To me, general business fits within that orange, the dark orange. And if you see to the right, all the way on the right hand side on the east where that triangle is, it folds right into that same, the highway frontage area being your general business area. It fits right in to me. And I think there are 1, 2, 3 parcels that fall into the annexed property that's owned by the workmen's. 3 parcels, and I don't really see a need to, separate them into, well, this zoning classification here, this one here, this one there. But that's something, if anybody has any thoughts, because there's some behind Susie Christian's old house and the other home there that they fall, just to the north of it, that was where we initially looked for the housing side. So, if anybody has any thoughts as far as, trying to maintain housing there or allowing it to, which you could put multifamily or single family, even if you zoned it general business, it's not going to be a hurdle to that whatsoever.
What is the zone right now?
It's
Agricultural.
agricultural,
'Cause it
which
falls
is,
back what the county had. It
Yeah.
zoned since it was under their roles before we annexed it.
and so because we don't have a zoning for that, that's why we're
That's why we're here.
why we're here.
And that's been looked at where it's good to build on that.
That's as far as what we saw with, we had,
past the perk.
Yeah.
yeah, with, and I know they'll probably to bring the ground up, of course.
Mm.
There's, somebody looked at it with, retention pond on it, where they would want to build. We haven't gotten that serious of, feedback from anybody yet. There's been some interest, but it's one of those, especially in the rear portion there, it's, that ground level's out where it's the same height as on the west side there where we have multifamily housing. But yeah, they would have to do some groundwork, I'm guessing, but that's up to them,
Yeah, the west side doesn't look bad, the east side looks.
Yeah, it's pretty low,
And I think,
but
Judson,
yeah, the conversations we've had, a lot of them have said, if they built anything back there, then that east side is where they would do a retention pond and
yeah,
have runoff and drainage from the housing, businesses, whatever, head back there to a retention pond.
yep. Yeah, one was on the east side, one was sort of in the center
Mhm.
where they built around it kind of thing. But yeah, they had, the proposal for the first housing grant was like 30 homes in
Yeah.
there. And, they came out and, dug down. I think they probed down and did their testing about what's feasible there. So, and that's the due diligence on their part, but I take your question though entirely, 100%. Yeah, for sure. But if they got to fill it back in, so be it. But yeah, we'll get the process started for those that public hearing, that publication, that public hearing, and to initiate the proposal to send to the council. I don't think there will be much outside of what Joe and I sort of housekeeping stuff. We could look at a similar date to what we're looking at with the BZA as well. If we can host both those public hearings, yeah, if we can host those public hearings on the same day we do the BZA meetings, then we should be in pretty good shape. There has been some interest on it already from some companies, but nothing has been, at least not necessarily disclosed, that's that we're looking at, a timeline for this or that kind of thing. We've not got that far, but there is interest on a couple fronts. So, and now that they've got a realtor working for them, it makes it a little better situation where it's not just, a property owner trying to connect with who they might not know, people in circles they don't know. So we'll see, but hopefully there's some development there. We'd love to see it help especially with SEA 1 and the tax changes happening. The more we develop that property, the better it does to help us maintain police, fire, all those things. Not to mention our sewer and water. Yep, absolutely. And the sewer and water is, just to touch on that, Joe mentioned, just from discussions with developers and that, nearby, which is great because they, anybody going in there wants sewer and water.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we can pick up off of Maryland or Crystal. We got a stub right there that we could extend if there was housing, if they want to do a housing development on the west side of that property. And then if there's interest for general business more to the frontage, Highway 10 frontage, we've got a water main that dead ends over there. We could extend that out, get water into that. And we also, as far as sewer goes, we think the easiest path for us sewer, we have a lift station over behind the funeral home at Oakwood, would be the directional bore under the road, a new sewer line, and tie into that lift station, since we would get some fall issues there. So any business that was right on 10, if they wanted to build, we could literally go straight over that lift station. We've got capacity.
yep. So we'll get anybody have any other thoughts? Justin, any other thoughts?
Not really. Tell Josh and Isaiah to look a little more lively. They're making me tired this morning.
Go by.
Yep. slowly go by. But yeah, I think we can look to the beginning of the year as well to schedule our year, sort of beginning of year meeting, because we meet so seldom, to elect officers and things like that. Right after the beginning of the year. And then, maybe it's worth, especially with developments like these, we can see where, we had, what's his name, building on the corner of Lucan there. We could, if we don't have issues that come up, a quarterly meeting to set up with the planning commission, because there may be, we talk about it in council meetings sometimes about, wow, he started, but he hasn't sort of stopped. This would be a good forum for us to meet to sort of bring things like that as planning commissioners, sort of like, okay, well, where's that at? Can we look into that? Then we can communicate to our building inspectors, go say, hey, what's your timeline here? We gave you the approval, you built foundation, and you just stopped, kind of thing. So some quarterly, at least when we don't have issues that arise like this. But you know, as we have property that gets developed like this, hopefully we have more reasons to meet indeed for developments and things growing and improving.
We're meeting, that's good then.
Yep. We have to meet them. We're reading
Progress is
Yep,
happening.
for sure. All right, we'll communicate on dates and we'll go from there. We'll get the initiated proposal put together for the newspaper. And we'll get everybody some dates. We know it won't be the 19th or 20th or the 11th. We can put that in our calendars, but we'll communicate and let you guys know.
Great. Any additional business? Anyone? Great. I don't either.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
See you guys.
Yep.